Hey guys, it's Jake. I'm going to do a quick tutorial over my event system that you can use in 2D VLS. Um, First thing you're going to want to do is import the Unity package, the 2D VLS Unity package. Get rid of the samples folder and the README file because we're not going to be needing that, and move the gizmos folder into the main project folder. All right. Add a C# script, call it whatever you want. I'm going to call this the event tutorial. And then go into that. You can use whatever environment you want. I'm using Visual Studio because I've used it for a lot longer, um, but Mono Develop will work just fine. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is to create a method that you're going to want to call when the events get called from the light. Um, these functions take a specific set of parameters which are defined by the delegate that I have set up inside of 2D VLS. The um, the structures is like this. It returns a void. You can call it whatever name you want, and the two parameters that you must pass are light 2D and game object. This is how you must write the functions that are going to be assigned to your events. On the tutorial, I'm going to make a cube that I want to change color during the onStay event when the light is focused on the cube. I want the cube to slowly change color from white to the light's color, which is hitting it. That way, if you were to change the light color, it would slowly alert from that color to the new color that you've assigned the light. Um, I also want to add an on enter event where the cube doubles its size when the light hits it. And then finally, I want to add a on exit event to return the cube to its uh, regular state, which is white, and also to return the scale to 1. So let's go ahead and write those functions. On light enter, light 2D, light object, and then also we want to pass in, remember, the game object. We also want to write a on light stay function. Again, the same parameters as the above function. They're all going to have the same parameters in them. And then finally, on light exit. Okay, if you were to obviously, well, it might not be as obvious to some, but if you were to run this script right off the bat, there would be no effect with the light. And the reason is that we haven't yet registered these functions to the Light 2D event listener. Um, and to do that is pretty simple inside of 2D VLS. We do that in our start function or our start method, and we call light 2D dot register event listener. The first parameter that we're going to pass is the type. Um, and for purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to do all three available types, which are, as I've said, on light stay, on exit, and on enter. So for the first one, we're going to assign the method that we called on enter, and it's going to take in the function name as the parameter. We're going to do the same thing as above 3 more times, but for the other 2 events. Okay, and remember to unregister these events when you destroy the object. Otherwise, you will get some random errors that will throw you off unless you know what you're looking for. And to do that, we simply call the unregister event listener and pass in the same parameters as we did above. Okay. And what these functions basically do are to add the are to add these functions into the delegate list, the event delegate list, pretty much calling the plus equals uh, plus equals operator with the functions. So it'll be like on beam inside the code, the light code, it's on beam enter plus equals on light exit or enter, for example. That's what's inside the code and that's how that's working. And then with unregister, we're doing the minus equals. A little bit of advanced insider knowledge, but figured it might be good for you to know. Okay, so for the first thing, I'm going to do the on light stay. And again, what I want to do is change the color of the the object which is inside the light to match the color of the light. Um, and with and what we want to do first, though, before we get to that, is to check to make sure that the script that we're inside right now is equal to the object which is being passed through the onLight stay event. Otherwise, this will affect all objects that are containing the script, regardless of if they're the object inside the light or not. I do that by checking the ID, the instance ID against the actual game object's ID. And if those are true, then we're going to want to change the light's color or the object's color from the current color using color.lerp and getting the current color of the material to the light object's color over a period of delta time times 3. And the delta time times 3 will make sure that it fades slowly over a period of seconds. The light object that we're using here is being passed into this function up here by the light that's calling this onStay function. All right. I'm going to go ahead and save that right now and show you what this effect does. To use it, we're going to go ahead and set up a simple scene that will have a radial light with a, say, 60-degree angle and a cube. And the script is going to be placed inside this cube object. When you're using events in 2D VLS, make sure that you check the use events tick. Otherwise, it won't be calling events. And the reason I do this is because events are kind of heavy as far as memory usage, because each light must store a list of events or a list of objects. Okay, with those 2 things done, let's go ahead and press play and see what we get. Okay, as you notice, the cube has slowly changed to the color of the light. And we can even change this color and see the cube react accordingly. Of course, the problem now is that when we exit, the cube's color stays the same. In order to get that fixed, what I want to do is return the color on light exit to the original color, which was white. You could store the original color in a separate property if you want to return it to an arbitrary, or not an arbitrary, but a value that it was set to at the beginning of the scene. But for the tutorial purposes, I'm going to just go ahead and hard code it as white. Again, we check to see if the object being called is the actual object containing the script, and we set the materials color to white. Go ahead and save and play this, see if that works. Move it into the cube. Cube changes color. On exit, it goes back to white. Very simple. All right, and finally, to get this cube to double its size only once, we'll want to call onLight enter, and we'll want to do the same exact check as before. Check the game object's ID against the game object the script is attached to ID, and double the game object's local scale by setting it to vector 3.1 times 2. Again, we're using default values. If you wanted to double the scale of some unhard-coded value, you'd want to store the game object's local scale into a variable during the start function. And then to get it to return to its normal size, we'll want to do that again in the onExit event, except for set it to a scale of 1. Now let's save that and see how it looks. Doubles, fades to the color that we want, exits, and it should shrink down and turn to white. So that concludes the tutorial today. I hope to be uploading a few more tutorials soon. If you have any more questions or need to get a hold of me, you can go to the 2DVLS menu and help, and you can contact me direct through my email address here, or you can go to the online contact forums at reveryinteractive.com by clicking on this link. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I hope this helped.